Hey guys, this is me, Chuckles, or Arrowhead, back with another ranking video. And I'm kind of trying a new thing today as I rank kind of. This is my first time using OBS. Um, a pretty good software for video recording, and it's been a while since I've been looking. I've done my research, and they've been my the one that I've chosen. Um, but this year we are going to be looking at a um, lot of firsts for us. We're gonna be looking at the Big 12 and kind of making how I think the Big 12 schedule is going to go this season. Um, that's 20. Okay. Copy image. And then we're going to paste that here. Okay. And this is the Big 12. Very poor image. Let me get their one for you. Um, Still very poor. Anyways, this is what we have to look at. Um, but more or less, we're going to be looking at each team. Each team's football schedule and go down the list of where we see them going. Starting with the reigning champs, I think. Arizona State. They are probably going to be one of the best teams in the league this year, again, for me. Um, but I think it's going to be a maybe difficult. I don't know. Um, Last year, the Big 12 was so crazy that Arizona State, who was picked last, is now uh, the reigning reigning conference champions, and that's probably enough said about it. So let's get started. Arizona State and returning production. Um, so they have uh, Sam Levitt, which I'm really high on. I wish my team would have got him. Going to be honest, there, he should have been a Cougar. They didn't pursue him well, and mostly he didn't want to go. His brother had a hard time with the old staff, being Bronco, and uh, but also he was there during Kalani, and it just didn't sit right with him. I think they're going to be S tier. I think they're going to be again in the top five. I think maybe top three. Could I see them making a run to the championship again? Yeah, I could. Do I? Is that my judgment? No, not right now. As I look at it, they just Cam Scabu was a big reason why they did as good as they did, and they don't have him, nor do they have a plates kicker last year that didn't matter. But yeah, so maybe without Cam Scabu, I think they're probably the third best. So I'll put them behind who I think is better. Arizona, they are D tier. They are my first tier D, and my first D tier team. Sorry, grading here. They are good, not great. Um, as we look at their schedule here, They play Hawaii. I think they can win that one. Weber State. I also think they can win that one. Um, and then for the second year in a row, they play Kansas State. And that's not going to be a conference game. Uh, Crazy that that's a conference game for them. Um, but uh, I think they will lose to Kansas State and then lose to Iowa State. They could take Oklahoma State at home. Then they have BYU at home, and I don't know if I'm going to say that one again. Last year BYU was really good. They also have a quarterback issue. So I don't know. I'm not going to say that what I think about BYU. I'll put them where I put them, probably. Uh, but every time I say anything about BYU, I curse them. So, gonna not say it. Uh, Houston, I think that's gonna be a really good game, and I think whoever wins that game could reach bowl eligibility. Colorado, Arizona at Colorado. Um, that's probably not gonna be a good game in their favor. Kansas, don't see them winning that one. Cincinnati, they could steal. Baylor could steal. Arizona State, no. So yeah, 6-6 is their ceiling, but their floor is 4-8. I do think they get two in conference just because conference is so good. Um, yeah, I think they get two in conference. Uh, 4-8 ceiling sits in floor. But sits in four in the Big 12. It's not gonna get you above a D tier. Um, Baylor gonna be a surprise for us, and I actually want to change these. Con- yeah, I want to change these. Contender. Could. Why does it keep doing that? Could surprise. Be class act bowl bowl team bowl. Eh, maybe next year. Maybe next year. All right. Um. So yeah, I think Baylor could surprise us. I think they're gonna be bowl eligible for sure. Um. I know they don't play BYU. I know they don't play. Let's look here real quick. Baylor Bears. Um, so they have Auburn. They have SMU. If they come out 2-0 to start out the season, I think they're going to lose two. Just as I can see, they play Utah and Kansas State and Arizona State, and Arizona State is their Big 12 opener. Um, at home, they're notoriously not great at home over the last few years. So I think their floor is 7-5. Like I said, I think they are a really good bowl team. Ceiling could be 10-2. I just don't see them beating Utah and don't see them beating Arizona State. Um, BYU, I'm gonna put them automatically middle class right now. Don't know where they go. I know their schedule by heart. They're my team. I'm wearing their hat right now. So anything I'd say is biased for them. I'm gonna be the same. I'm gonna be a little less biased for Utah. Try to try to take it out, but depending on their quarterback situation, they are 7-5, which I would consider really bad here. At 7-5 with the team and the depth they have, 7-5 is scary to me. But I could see 11-1. I know I'm high on them, but I could see it. I'm going to put them at 9-3. They're competing every year, but they won't make it. Kind of like last year, they won't make it. Cincinnati. I think they're a bowl team. I do not know their schedule off the rip. Does Arizona play them? They do. Okay, Cincinnati. Yeah, they. I think. Ooh, ooh, gosh. They do have a hard schedule, but they don't have Arizona State. They don't have Texas Tech, but they have Iowa State and Utah, and then also Nebraska. So I think that Nebraska Cincinnati game will be telling. Um, 1, 2, might steal that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, okay. If they get out to a 4-0 start or a 5-1 start, they will end the season at 9-3. But if they get out to a slow start and end up 3-3, it's gonna be a 6-6 year for them. If they don't make their first three in their first six at 3-3, I don't see them being a bowl team. So I might put them at maybe next year because they do have a little bit of a tougher schedule than I thought they did. All right. Now, Arizona, we're going back to theirs because they do play Colorado. And Colorado is our next on our list. They play Georgia Tech. They play Delaware. They play Houston. They play Wyoming. They play BYU coming off a bye. They play TCU. They play Colorado. They play Iowa State. They play Utah. They play West Virginia, Arizona State, and Kansas State. Oh gosh. Um. Ah. Yeah. So, okay. If you beat Georgia Tech, you're probably ranked. Beat Delaware. Okay, that's just barely a BS team. Beat Houston. Beat Wyoming. Play BYU. Coming off a bye at 3 and at yeah. No, with that schedule, you're gonna be. It's going to be crazy because they could go from competing last year to not being a bowl team. But I'm gonna put them at a bowl team. I'm gonna be low on them this year just because of how much they lost, what they lost, and like how it sits for them right now isn't great for me. We're going to Houston now. All right, Houston. If you better come off the gates 3-1, like 3-1, you better come out the gates 3-1. Then they go to Texas Tech. So one in your first 5 games is out of the state of Houston, out of the state of Texas. Then you go to Oklahoma State. That's probably going to be the bottom here, but I'm going to say Houston. I have a belief in what Willie Fritz can do, so I'm going to put them as a bowl team. I I see a lot of bomb periods on their like that they play from last year, but that doesn't mean anything. It is last year. All of these teams have a whole bunch of turnover when you look at the bomb periods. My next contender, and I am going to put them at number 2, Iowa State. We haven't talked about hard schedules yet. Um, besides Colorado. Colorado has a pretty hard schedule. Um, so I assume opening up with Kansas State, it's not going to be fun. Because I'm high on Kansas State, I think they're going to be a contender. Um, or a surprise. They could surprise. I won't be surprised. I think they're a contender. Um, so yeah, they play Iowa. They play Kansas State. Then they have a bye. Then they play Iowa. No, South Dakota, which they should win. Then they play Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas State. If you're 3-1 with your biggest loss coming to Iowa or Kansas State, that's good for you. But the thing is, if you lose to Kansas State, you are you already are putting yourself behind the 8 ball when it comes to when it comes to um, the conference, because I think Kansas State is going to be in the top half of in the top 2 of the conference. I really do. I think they're going to be good, but if they win, they're putting themselves in a position to kind of dominate the and then the only one I'm seeing is they have BYU and Arizona State at home. I think both of those are big wins. I think, well, maybe not big wins, but I think it's a big win to have those games in Ames. Um, and back to back. I think that's going to be helpful for you as well. Uh, kind of a tough stretch, but BYU's stretch in those 2 games are hard too. Um, actually, BYU's back half, holy crap! I like ramp up, ramp up. They gotta get going by KKU. Am I going to buy the KU hype train this year? I bought it last year, but we're putting them as a surprise team. I'm saying 7-5 is their floor. 9-3 ceiling, maybe. No, they could have a high ceiling. They could be 11-1. They could be 11-1. And my champion, who I think will take it, Kansas State. Look, Avery Johnson, real, very real. What BYU proved last year was you're going, if they lose, they're going to get shot in the foot. That's it. Every loss, Arizona State kind of was a big loss. But the Iowa State game was close. Heartbreaker for BYU fans. You gotta be honest. A little bit of a heartbreaker. But the real heartbreaker came when you lost to Houston. You can't do that. You can't lose to Houston, a middling Houston team. You can't do it. Like, as a BYU fan, that one hurt. That one really hurt. Because if they would have won that game, we would have been, gotta be on. We would have been. All 3 of these Nets teams right here, they are no longer in the conference. So we are not going to talk about them. Oklahoma State, maybe Nets here. Might be time to fire Gundy. Gotta be honest. Maybe Nets here. TCU, not even gonna have to look at TCU's schedule. I think they're gonna be a contender. But I'm gonna put them at could surprise us. Because we don't know. We really don't know. I really do like Hoover. He tore the rim off BYU. And yeah, they're gonna be good. Texas Tech. They're also gonna be a contender. And the one thing you're gonna see with this is how real some of the Big 12 can be. Utah, they're a contender. No matter what, they're a contender. Last year they ripped everybody's hearts out. But they're a contender. Then West Virginia. They're gonna be a class act. I'm gonna put them right here with BYU. Class act. They're gonna do their due diligence. They may not make a bowl game. They might. They might be really good. We don't know. UCF, maybe next year. Full on, maybe next year. They're middling. They're gonna be bad. So, if I am accurate, all right. Okay, guys. This is a big deal. If I am accurate, we got 12 bowl teams in this league. Few of these teams are going to disappoint me. Few of these teams are going to do what Utah did last year. Few of these teams are going to do what Oklahoma State, my last year, projected. Not champion, but I had them in here last year. Boy, howdy was I wrong. They shouldn't be in the conference. They really, no, I'm joking. They should. They're a great team. But what happened last year was a liability. So maybe next year. have to see. I'm going to come back to these a bit more. Um, but now we're going to rate their quarterbacks because, boy howdy, do we got some stories to tell you people. Because holy crap, I I have a lot to talk about with the Big 12. Ooh, that's cool. All right. In fact, there is breaking news. Big 12 is now requiring all teams before Big 12 games to submit availability reports. So if I have a guy that is hurt in week 1 and hurt in week 2, I have to say it. I have to say, hey, they might not make a playoff. They might not be there in this game. They won't be playing this game. In fact, we are just going to rank our Big 12. We're going to rank some teams. Do what we like. And kind of tomorrow we're going to talk about the AP poll and how bad it was last year. To start preseason, kind of bad. Kind of bad. Anyways, yes. That's all I have for you guys today. I am Todd Barnum, or Chuckles, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more playoff predict with my my 12-team playoff look of what it should be this year. This is very early, and I'm not going to hold myself to actually, I will hold myself to it. If I do not make it, I'm going to a Utah game wearing a Utah hat. I hate this. This is not good. I am very much a BYU fan, so wearing a Utah hat, I could be disowned. But if 7 of my 12 are incorrect, no, if 5 of my 12 are incorrect, so if I get 7 right or less, I have to go to a Utah game wearing a Utah hat. All right, thank you. Have a nice day. Talk to y'all tomorrow.